Does it feel impossible to scale because your processes are all over the place? Or maybe you just don't have the time or the patience to get those processes written? Well, here's a 5-step plan to make it happen for you, and it's super easy. Hello, my name is Michael Mills. I'm one of the founders of Business Design Corporation, and I'm going to show you how to create a process-dependent business in 5 simple steps. The 5 steps to help you create a business that runs smoothly and profitably, just as you expected it would. A business that doesn't depend on you always having to be there to do the work. Creating a process-dependent business, it's just not rocket science. It's simple. We've worked with thousands of business owners over the past 20 years, and I can tell you straight up that the reason most business owners haven't been able to get to this is because they don't have a plan and they don't have a tool. So I'm going to go into each of the 5 steps very briefly, and then I will cover them in more detail. So here they are. In step number 1, you're going to identify all of the tasks and processes in your business. You're not going to document the how to do everything in this step. You just need to get a handle on how many processes you have. So you can then go to the next step, which is to prioritize the processes that you need to get written first. Now here I emphasize the ones that you need to get written first. I'm not talking about the most important processes in your business. Those are usually the processes that you do, and you're probably not going anywhere soon, especially if things are chaotic. And I mean, come on, who's going to want to buy your job, right? In step number 3, you'll manage the writing of the process list that you created in step 2. You do not and should not be writing all of your processes. That is not your responsibility. Your managers and many of your employees are capable of writing them. They're the ones who are doing the work. They're the ones who know how to do it best. Get them to document what they do. And if that doesn't sound feasible, then let us do it for you. We have a complete set of, a team of people who will actually write all of your processes and get it done for you. Step number 4, train and implement your new processes. And don't wait until everything is written. As soon as a few processes are ready, start training your people in them. Get them using them. Get their input, their feedback, their innovations to make them better. And finally, step number 5, monitor and report on their use. Keep them current. Determine your baseline measurements, your KPIs. Ensure consistency in what's happening in the organization, and then start building your profitability and gaining more time to do what you love to do, within or without of your business. Okay, so let's go through each of the steps in a little bit more detail. As I said in step 1, you're going to create a list of all of your processes, as many as you can think of. For example, you might ask yourself, how do we get new business? And your answer, well, it might be, well, referrals. We get a lot of people, word of mouth referrals, something like that. Maybe you do some direct mail. Maybe you do a monthly newsletter. Maybe you do some advertising on Facebook and Google AdWords. Maybe you do some cold calling. And when you reach a prospect, or when they contact you, you do a qualification call to determine if they're qualified. And then if they are qualified, you schedule a first appointment. This might be a site visit or a free consultation where you can start building that relationship and determine their needs. Then you might prepare an estimate. Then you schedule another appointment to present that proposal or that estimate. And then you close the sale. And if you don't close the sale, then you continue with a follow-up process to keep them in the loop, to keep them nurtured into a future sale. So that was pretty easy, right? If we look at this list, I think I can organize them into, say, 2 categories. There's basically what I might call advertising and generating leads, and then another category for sales conversion and follow-up. Okay, so now I want to show you how easy it is to get a handle on this. I'm going to use a clever, inexpensive online tool called the TouchStone Business System. You could create this process list in Microsoft Word or Google Docs, Dropbox, all sorts of different tools, but chances are if you do, you're going to end up in what we've coined SOP chaos. Your processes will be all over the place in all different types of formats and versions. We've seen it happen 1,000 times. TouchStone is simply the best tool available for implementing your processes. So I'm going to actually log into a TouchStone account right here. So when I first log into TouchStone, I come to the control panel or the home page. In this first step, I'm going to jump right into building my process list. I'm going to click on the tab marked 4 key functions. This is where all of your processes are going to be organized and stored. And I'll start building a list of my sales processes, the ones we just identified. So I'm going to click here on Sales and Marketing Processes, and I want to create my list here, so I click on Processes, then Create, and I'm going to start adding all of my processes. So the first process is referrals, and then I click Save, and then next process, Create, Direct Mail, Save, monthly newsletters, save, Facebook, Google AdWords, save, cold calling, save, and so on, until I've added all of the processes that I think I have for sales and marketing. Okay. So now I've entered as many sales and marketing processes as I can think of. I want to now use the TouchStone library of process names to check out what I might not be remembering, maybe something I've forgotten. See, TouchStone has a series of process templates for each of the 4 key functions of your business. We take your business and we organize it into 4 key functions: sales and marketing, client fulfillment, administration and finance, and strategy and management. Basically, everything that happens in your business falls into those 4 key functions. Since I'm working on sales and marketing, I'm going to go to see what's in the library in that key function. Maybe there's some processes that I could add to my list. So I go up here to Library, and I'm going to click on General Processes, and I start scrolling through the list looking for something that I might need. So here's one. I actually do have strategic alliances, so I'm going to grab this one here called Strategic Partnership Development. I'm going to click it, and I'm going to click Save. This is going to download that process into my TouchStone account. Scrolling down, here's another one that sounds pretty useful: Reputation Monitoring. That sounds like something I should have, so I'm going to grab that one too and click Save. And once this COVID crisis calms down, I mean, we haven't been to trade shows in a while, but we will be coming back to trade shows, so I'm going to grab trade shows and add that one to my account as well. So I can go through this list and grab any of the processes that I want, but right now this looks like a pretty good list to me. Now, don't worry, in this first stage, don't worry about trying to get it perfect. You're probably not going to be able to think of everything that you do in your business at this point, but you're going to get a super valuable head start, and then other processes will get added later. So in a matter of minutes, I've roughed up a list of all of my sales and marketing processes. I would then carry on and click into each of the other key functions shown by these tabs, and I would simply list the names of the processes that I have for each key function until I'd completely identified all of the processes in my business. It's as easy as that. And in less than an hour or two, you should be able to have a pretty good list of all of the different processes in your business. You've built a really good blueprint of your business in terms of its processes. At this point, you'll have a list of processes, what I like to call the systemic infrastructure of your business. The list might be 50 or 150 long. But you'll now be able to know the scope of the project ahead of you, which brings us to step 2, prioritizing the processes that you need to write now, the ones that need to get written first. If you're about to lose your front desk person, for example, to maternity leave, well, whatever it is that he or she does, it's important to get that documented as soon as possible. These are probably not going to be super important processes, but they sure are going to be useful for the temp who comes in to take over. When we're working with clients, helping them get their processes prioritized, I like to ask 3 questions. The first, is there a position that you need to hire soon? Because if you're about to hire someone, it can be super valuable to have a clear understanding of what they do, how they do it, and what's expected of them. You'll use the processes for training as well as for managing oversight and evaluation. Or I might ask, Is there a department or an area in your business that needs support? Maybe this is where the focus of process writing needs to be. Or finally, I ask, are there things that you're doing that you shouldn't be doing? If you had a process that you could use to delegate that task to someone else in your organization, you could free up some of your time to do more high-value activities like sales or client fulfillment. If you're spending some of your time right now doing bookkeeping, for example, or payroll, give it up. Create those processes and hire a part-time person to get it done. It's simply not a good use of your time as the owner of the business. So the next step is to start writing these prioritized processes. You do not have to write all of your processes. You need to enroll others to get the writing done. Get their agreement to complete a specific process and then follow up with them to make sure that the task is accomplished and review what they've written with them. Make it their responsibility. Make it the responsibility of your department managers, if you have them, to get the processes written for their department and get them implemented. This is a manager's responsibility. Next, you want to implement your new processes immediately, as soon as possible. Every time you finish writing something, put it to use. Once people start using your processes, they'll see how useful they are. They'll start thinking systematically, and you'll find that more and more will get written by more and more employees in your company. In TouchStone, you're going to link that process to specific boxes on your org chart, and it's very simple to do. First, you're going to create your org chart by logging in, clicking on the organizational chart right here. You'll be presented with a generic org chart, which you'll customize. And it's very simple to do. You can see that you can add a position, you can remove positions, you can edit positions. So for example, if you don't have technicians in your company, maybe you have a consultant, you can click here, and then you can edit the name of this position from technician to consultant, and then just click save. You'll notice that you can move the boxes around simply by dragging and dropping. So if your lead generator, for example, reports to the operations manager, just drag that position over here and drop it underneath the operations manager. With your org chart created, you link your processes to boxes on your org chart. You can do that in a few ways. One way is to click on this position, click on any position. I'm going to pick outside salesperson, for example. Then click on Add Existing Processes right here and choose processes from the list that you just created. In this case, I'm going to choose Qualification Call, Site Visit, Prepare an Estimate, Present the Estimate, Close the Sale, and Follow Up. And now I've got a complete job description for any employee that I assign to this position, any employee that's filling this position. And next, I'll click on the gear icon up here, and I'm going to select User Accounts, and I'll add all of my employees into TouchStone and assign them to boxes on the org chart. So for example, if I have an employee, Michael Mills, I'm going to select Michael here, and I'm going to add him to outside salesperson. Now when Michael logs in, everything he needs will be served up to him. These instructions and expectations will be used to train and manage Michael, to hold him accountable to what he has agreed to do for us. Because all of the processes have been linked to specific positions and your employees have been linked to that position, it is absolutely clear what they have to do, how they get it done, and what is expected of them. And that brings us back to the fifth and final step of the five-step plan, monitoring and tracking the results of those employees using your processes. You see, as you train your employees, you can mark that that specific employee has been trained in each process, and TouchStone will timestamp the date of the training. There will never again be an argument whether or not someone has been trained to do exactly what you need them to do. This is also a management function. And depending on how many employees you have, it may mean you, the business owner, is managing all of the functional areas of the organization. But it's a crucial step. It's not a difficult one. It's simply overlooked by most business owners. They think that once they've got a process in place that's all there is to it. And they never ask the person running it for the results. So that's it. That's the 5-step plan for creating a process-dependent business. If you'd like more information on this, more detail and instructions on how to get it done, visit our website at www.businessdesigncorp.com. We have a free course that walks you through each one of these steps in great detail. And there you can also register for a free trial of the TouchStone Business Software and gain access to all of our library processes. If you need any help, just let us know. We're looking forward to speaking with you. Thank you.